Today, I'm going to introduce you to this e-commerce application and show you how it uses the blockchain and Astra DB. By the end of this video, you will be able to run a simple e-commerce app based on Next.js that leverages Astra DB for storing product information and clickstream data, and MetaMask to execute smart contracts deployed on a RINC-B blockchain. In this diagram, you can see how a blockchain application would function with or without Astra. We will use the blockchain because it's going to serve as an immutable store for our transaction data. For Astra DB, we'll leverage speed, availability, and scaling for our product and clickstream data. So now let's get our app up and running. We'll head over to our terminal. We'll say yarn dev, and this will get our application running on localhost 3000. And as you can see in this application, we have a MetaMask wallet connected. We're displaying a variety of different products and they have different statuses, and we have the ability to create a product. Before we get started, we're going to have to take care of a few setup tasks. We are going to download and install the MetaMask wallet browser extension. In the wallet, we're going to set up the RINC-B testnet. We're going to create two different accounts in MetaMask, a buyer account and seller account. We'll fund the MetaMask wallet by using the RINC-B faucet. And finally, we'll set up Astra DB. We'll create a database, add some tables, and populate the tables with data. If you don't already have a wallet, go ahead and create one now at metamask.io. In order to do that, we're going to click on download. We have a Chrome browser, so we're going to click on install MetaMask for Chrome and add the extension. Once the extension is added, a page from MetaMask will pop up. And now you can click on Get Started. If you already have a wallet, you can use your secret recovery phrase here to import that wallet into MetaMask. Otherwise, we're going to create a wallet. And then click on I agree. We are going to create a password. If you haven't used a cryptocurrency wallet before, I highly suggest watching this video on how to set up your recovery phrase. And here's the last step with your secret recovery phrase, and we'll click Next. Next, we're going to have to connect to our test networks. It's a pretty simple process. You're going to get started by clicking the drop-down under Ethereum mainnet and click on Show Hide Test Networks. From there, we're going to click Show Test Networks to On. We'll navigate back to our wallet, click the drop-down once again, and click on RINC-B Test Network. Next up, we'll create our buyer and our seller account. It's fairly straightforward. Click the drop-down, click on Create Account. We'll type in buyer and then click Create. And now we'll do the same process for seller one more time, and then click on Create Account. As you can see, these wallets are already funded with test tokens. Your wallet will be empty, so you're going to have to go over to the RINC-B faucet in order to fund the accounts. And now here we are at the faucet. We will be able to get 0.5 test Ethereum into our account if we log into this application. And then we'll just have to click the drop down, copy our seller address, and then we'll enter in that wallet address and click on Send Me ETH. It will take just a few minutes for the transaction to confirm on the blockchain, and then you'll see the test ETH in your wallet. Once you have the funds in your wallet, you're going to want to split them between your accounts to run the application. So we're going to copy our buyer address, go over to the seller address, click on Send. We'll paste that address, and we'll send half of the funds to the buyer address. And once again, we'll just have to wait for that to confirm, and then we can get started with our demo. Now that the transaction is confirmed, you can see that the buyer wallet has 0.25 more ETH. At this stage, each of your wallets should have roughly 0.25 ETH, and then you're ready to get started with Astra. Now we can get started by creating a database. We're going to use Astra in order to store product information and our clickstream data. So let's get started by clicking Create Database. From there, we'll enter our database name called crypto, and then our key space name, eCommerce. We're going to select a region. So we'll head over to Google Cloud, click on North America, and select the available free region. And then we'll click on Create Database. And from there, we'll just have to wait for a few minutes for it to be provisioned. Now our database is active. You can see we have a variety of information here, such as read request, write request, storage consumed, and data transfer. It also includes your region information, your data center ID, and your key spaces. And now in the CQL console, we're going to be adding some tables and inserting our data. First, we'll navigate to our key space named eCommerce. And then we'll be copy and pasting some create table statements from our README file. Here is our first table catalog. This will be storing our product information. And then we have our second table activity stream. This will store user clicks in our application. Now we just want to confirm that the tables were created correctly. We'll say describe tables, and you can see the name of both of our tables here. And now we'll populate our tables with some data. We'll copy over some insert statements from the README and we'll paste them here. These statements will add our product information to our product table. In order to view that in the console, we'll use a select statement. We'll select all from our catalog table, and you can see all that product information has been inserted into our table. And now let's check out our activity stream table by using another select statement. Select all from activity stream. Here you can see it's empty, but we'll be inserting the wallet address, timestamp, action, and product ID. We'll be using post request in order to add this data as the user walks through the buying and selling process. So the next step will be connecting our application to our Astra DB. In order to do that, we're going to have to create an application token. We're going to click on the drop-down, Organization Settings, Token Management, and here we can create our token. We're going to click the drop-down on Select Role, choose Admin User, and then Generate Token. Now you can see your token details, your client ID, client secret, and token. You can download those token details to save them for later. But for our purposes, we're just going to need that token value, so we'll copy it here and put it in our env file. To get started, we're going to click on the Connect MetaMask button in the top right. This will pull up our MetaMask wallet. Here we can select our buyer and seller account, click on Next, Connect, and it will pull up our store. In MetaMask, you're going to want to make sure that you're in the seller wallet, so let's navigate to that. And now you're ready to go with creating a product. So in this application, we're going to use API calls to interact with Astra. You can see all our products here, which we get from our catalog table. So let's get started with creating a product. We're going to click on the Create Product button, and then we're going to add our title, price, description, and an image, and then click on Add to Draft. You can find all this product information in the README, but feel free to choose any product that you would like. So we're adding the title, price, description, and now we're going to add an image. Click on Next, and then click on Add to Draft. And now you can see all that product information is stored on this product page within the card. And we will copy down our product ID. We'll be using that in our select statement here in just a second. And now let's head over to the CQL console to view that product information. We are going to navigate to that key space by running use eCommerce. Once within that key space, we'll run a select statement where the product ID is equal to that product ID that we just copied. And once we run that select statement, we'll be able to view the product information here, and that confirms that our new product was added to our catalog table. Now let's head back over to our application. We'll click on DS Commerce to go to our main page. And you can see that our scenery painting is now available with all the rest of the products. We interact with our database and are able to display all this information and add new products because we're making API calls directly to Astra. And I'm going to highlight one of those in this next step here. And here you can see our add product to draft function. Inside this function, we're going to be making a post request to the route API products product draft. And we're passing that product information that we filled out in the previous form. And here you can see the route that we configured for the API call. If the request method is equal to post, We will call our add draft function, which will take in a name, description, price, UID, and account. And now let's take a look at how this function actually works. In this function, we'll be using the Node.js client. We'll be using that client to make a post request. The URL that we'll make a request to will end in our key space name and our table name, and we'll be passing that product information to the catalog table. And just a reminder, this is where we saw that product information in that table. In our process NFT function, we're going to use a post request to track our user clicks in the buying process. Here you can see if the operation is equal to list NFT, then we'll be making a post request. And in that request, we'll be passing a timestamp, wallet address, product ID, and action message. And then at the end of this demo, we'll be able to head back over to the CQL console to view our clicks in the activity stream table. Before we start the demo, I want to give you a high-level overview of what's happening with the smart contract. We have two accounts, a buyer account and a seller account. Between those accounts, we'll live a third-party escrow account that will collect fees. It's going to start off with the seller listing the product. When the seller lists the product for sale, they're also going to have to include an escrow fee. This escrow fee is 25% the price of the product. The buyer will now bid on the product. In order to do that, they'll be sending the price of the product and an escrow fee to the escrow account. Next, the seller will ship the product. Once the seller ships the product to the buyer, the escrow account will release the fee back to the seller. The last step will include the buyer confirming receipt of the product. Upon that confirmation, the escrow account will release the remaining funds. It will send back the escrow fee to the buyer, and to the seller, it will send back the price of the product. Now let's check out how this looks in code. Head over to our NFT Solidity file, and then we'll take a look at a few of these functions. You can see we have a seller listing an NFT, the buyer placing a bid on the NFT, the seller shipping an NFT, and finally the buyer receiving an NFT. Spend some time looking at this file to get a better understanding of how the smart contract actually works. All right, we're going to get started by listing our NFT from our seller account. As you can see now, we have our seller address in our wallet, and that's what we're currently connected as in the store. So you can see this product will be sold by our seller account. And next we're going to click on List as NFT. This will bring up our MetaMask contract. As I discussed previously, you can see here we have our escrow fee of 0.0025 Ethereum. Now we'll click on Confirm. And now we'll have to wait roughly a minute for the transaction to get confirmed on the blockchain. And now that it's confirmed, let's take a look at a few of the details. We are sending 0.0025 ETH from our seller address to the escrow account. We can also view the details of the transaction on the Block Explorer. And here's a more detailed breakdown. You can see our seller account transacted with our escrow account for 0.0025 ETH, and that we've listed our token here. Now we'll head back to our product page. After refreshing the page, we can see the status is now updated to listed. Now the bid on NFT button is available. We'll head back over to our wallet and we'll change to our buyer account because the buyer is going to be placing a bid. And then we'll go ahead and click on bid on NFT. And now we can see in this contract, it is for 0.0125 ETH. 0.01 is the price of the product and 0.0025 is the escrow fee. And we can go ahead and click on confirm. And this will bring us back to our application. And once again, we're just going to have to wait for the contract to get executed on the blockchain. Now let's click on the contract and we'll check out the details. The buyer account will be sending to the escrow account for a value of 0.0125 ETH. Now back on our product page, we can see that the status is updated to bought. The option to ship the NFT is now available. Once again, we're going to change over to our seller account. We'll do that in MetaMask here, and we'll click on Ship NFT. And then we will confirm the transaction. The only price that you'll pay is the gas fee, and we'll just have to wait for that confirmation on the transaction once again. Now that that's successful, let's check out the contract. We can see that the seller is initiating the contract with the escrow account. And once again, let's head over to the Block Explorer to check out some more details. And as you can see in the contract, the seller is transferring the token to the buyer. Additionally, the escrow account will release the escrow fee back to the seller. Just remember that's defined in our smart contract that we took a look at earlier. And finally, we can see that the status is updated to ship, and we have the option to receive the NFT. Once again, we're going to head over to MetaMask and change over to our buyer wallet. Once we're in our buyer wallet, we can go ahead and click on Receive NFT. It'll bring up the contract once again. All we have to pay is the gas fee and click on Confirm, and then we play the waiting game one last time. And here you can see the very last step of the contract. The escrow account is releasing the 0.01 ETH to the seller, which is the price of the product, also sending back the 0.0025 ETH or the escrow fee back to the buyer, and that concludes the transaction. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to collect clickstream data. Every time a user had to click a button during the buying process, we made an API post request to the activity stream table. And we can take a look at that by running a simple select statement in our CQL console. This will give us our activity stream data, and here you can see it. We have our wallet address, timestamp, action, and product ID. By collecting this data, it will help you make business decisions with your applications. As your app gets successful and your users grow, you are going to need a database that can scale with you. That's where Astra is needed. It will be able to scale up to a very large amount of requests, all while maintaining very low latencies. And that wraps up the demo for today. Thanks for joining us.